Hello, can anybody hear me? So if there's anybody out there in this land, would you say hi to me? And Tim says hi, he can hear me. Thank you, Tim. So good morning or good afternoon, as I think most of you think it is. Um, so welcome everybody. And my question to you is, what's your level of depression? Hang on, I'm still trying to figure out my slides here. So, is your depression a ball and chain keeping you from enjoying your life? If so, is it time to break free and claim your life of power and productivity? Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Venice Sullivan. I'm excited to be here with you today on this webinar, and I would like to welcome each of you. So I see a couple of you have already said hi to me, but whoever else is out there, I'd love to know who you are. So send me a quick message if you can. Let me know what you hope to get out of our day today. So while we're doing that, let me just say that I'm really happy we have a small group today because this is the second webinar I've ever done. And I'm just more than a little bit nervous at the moment, but we'll get through it. I'm still figuring it out, so please be patient with me, guys. Same time, excited to share this information with you because I know how devastating depression can be. And I know since you're here, you're ready to change your life. So I'm willing to take the risk of messing up and not being perfect just to help you get this information. And you know, my brain kind of is squirrely at times. So I found over my years of teaching that I jump from one place to another a lot. So I may be sounding like I'm reading some of this just to keep myself on track. So, you know, yep, that's me, kind of squirrely. And so just know that that's what I do. So yeah, I'm glad that a couple of you are here. I love seeing who's on my list, and know I've got a lot of support out there in the Arizona land. I appreciate that. Thank you. So what I know is from the people I see on here, we all come from a different area. And I want to make sure you're getting what you're looking for out of this. And so if you're looking for something specific, please send me that information. So for those people who are struggling in life and going, okay, I don't know, I'm at this point in life and I don't know what to do next, we're going to give you some direction and know that's something I work really well with. And for those people who are just, barely getting through the day, we're going to give you some hints too. So I hope to make sure that each of you get exactly what you're looking for. So my goal is to give you some real information on how you can create less pain and depression. And let's get started on breaking those chains and changing your life. By the way, I have a couple of bonuses built in during our time together, so watch for them. And if there's something you think would be beneficial to you, pop me a note and I'll make sure you're getting that information. My goal for you today is to discover or maybe rediscover hope and to begin to look forward to your life of power, joy, and productivity. We'll be chatting about the top 3 mistakes that you may be making that are keeping you depressed. And as you decrease your pain and depression, you're going to enjoy your life more. I'm here to help you discover the incredible Stop Your Depression formula that I have developed. My goal is to give you some tips that will help you move out of the debilitating spiral of hopelessness into the life of sunshine. I am thrilled that you made our webinar today, as I know how hard sometimes even showing up can be. I know when I was in the midst of my worst depression, sometimes even getting on the phone could be difficult. So I'm going to do my best to give you as much help as possible so you'll be able to get the valuable tips to help you decrease your depression. And for some of you I see on the list, I know how incredibly busy you are. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your day, because I know there's a whole lot of things you think you should be doing. But my question to you is, what is more important to you than you yourself? What is more important than decreasing your depression and pain so you can actually accomplish and enjoy more of life in the process? I know, especially a few of you, how much there is on that to-do list. So I'm honored you took out the time of your busy schedule to be here with me. Since you're here, you're also working really hard to keep your life on track while you're dealing with that depression. I'd like you to take a moment for yourself and congratulate yourself for taking this time out for you. It is the first step to changing your life, and nothing is more important than you are. And that is exactly what we'll be chatting about. So the question I have for you is, how can you decrease your depression while you reclaim your life? So yeah, I'm just noticing things on my computer here, and it's like, somehow I need next time to figure out how to close the pop-ups. I know how widespread depression is in our society today and how many people really need to change their life for something better. So I'm thrilled that you're here, those of you that are, and yet I'm so sad that depression is so pervasive in today's world, and it takes such a toll on your life as it robs you of your energy and your power and the ability to be successful in your work. I know for many of you, it feels like a deep, dark tunnel that you can never crawl out of. It takes a toll on every part of you, your work, your family, and most of all, your fun. These are all things that I would like to help you bring back in your life. I'm sure you will notice that I'm using pain and depression throughout this webinar. Having been there myself, I know that pain causes depression and depression causes pain. So we're going to use them interchangeably. It doesn't matter if that depression and pain is physical, mental, or emotional. They each feed each other. Perhaps you have heard of me or worked with me before, and maybe you really don't know the full breadth of the work we do here at Hope Wellness. Or maybe this is the first time you've been exposed to the work we've done here, because I see some names on here I don't recognize. Either way, I just want to let you know that each and every one of our clients hold a special place in our team at Hope Wellness Institute. And because we're chatting, you've now joined that team. I've only succeeded in my practice of almost 30 years by working with the uniqueness of each and every client. While we're on this call, I look forward to getting to know you and understanding what makes you special. So please chime in on the comments line whenever you feel like and tell me, areas that you're having difficulty with so I can make sure that I respond to those. Please know that I use these healing techniques on myself. It's how I've gotten myself out of the depression I was in for so long. I've been able to rebuild myself and had the privilege to help so many clients that I feel confident that I can help you as well. My greatest reward for the work I do is knowing that it impacts so many lives. It makes my day better when I know your life is better, and then you can spread that sunshine around. So I'm going to share with you some of my most important pieces from my incredible Stop Your Depression formula, which is designed to help you live your life with more power, joy, and productivity. By using these tools, you can be even more successful in your work with energy left over to enjoy your life. But first, I don't want to waste your time, so I want to make sure this webinar is for you. You're in the right place. If the words sad or unhappy, empty, lost, or invisible describes you, or your state of mind. How about fearful, hopeless, lonesome? And my favorite, faking it, or miserable. Are you dead inside, guilty, or full of despair? You're also in the right place if you're not enjoying your family, your job, or your life. Or, you're functioning and everyone thinks you're happy because you've always put on that happy face, but in reality, you're crying or dying inside, or you really just don't care. You're in the right place if you're not living life because you just can't motivate yourself to take part in it. You're in the right place if you live in a constant state of doubt. And if depression is taking its toll on your focus and in concentration so you can't do your work. I've seen many doctors and other medical professionals, and the only answer is years of therapy or the medications that have a longer list of side effects than benefits. Many of those side effects is exactly what they're treating you for. Yeah, I still haven't figured out that one. Maybe traditional medicine just isn't providing the solutions that you are seeking. So if any or above all of those apply to you, you may be to the point of just doubting yourself, being frustrated, and exhausted. So if any of this sounds like you, then I'm really excited that you are here and excited that you are going to learn to help yourself during our time together, because that's exactly the clients I've been working with for the last 30 years. Personal desire is to help you own your incredible Stop Your Depression formula, and as a result, have less pain and more energy. As your health improves, and your energy improves, it is easier for you to be in a life of power. And if I can even be a little part of that from our time here together, then I'm doing the happy dance, just like Snoopy. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about 4 parts of my Stop Your Depression formula that will help you increase the joy in your life. And we will address a number of ways you can begin to counteract the effects of pain in your life so you can create the success and joy that you're striving for. I'm sure you've heard of many of these things before, and often they sound too simple to be helpful. Yes, they are simple, but they are the building blocks to your recovery. So please listen to me because I've been there. I know what it takes to get out of this hole that you guys are in. And I know without these building blocks, you're never going to win the battle you're having with your depression. Healing is not about changing or doing just one thing in your life or taking a pill. It is truly a formula, and like most formulas, are a combination of simple ingredients added in the proper order, in the proper amounts, and the same is true for you. So what I've learned about my people in my years of practice is that depression is different for everyone. The cause is different and the components are different. So what works for one person is not necessarily what works for another. That is one reason why so many people are struggling with depression and pain. They are trying to treat everyone the same. I have noticed that the title of my talk is the 3 top mistakes. But, just knowing me, because I like to overdo everything, there will be a 4th at the end. And I've added in many hints that I have learned in my years of practice and in working on myself. So what makes me think that I can help you? Here's my story. As I said before, I've been in practice for 30 years and in the medical field for over 40. Getting older. Learning and perfecting what I've learned is one of the driving forces, and is a bigger driving force for me is the challenge to solve the puzzle. I've spent most of my career studying various types of therapies to hone my skill and find more answers. But I've just not dabbled in them. I spent nearly 15 years perfecting neuromuscular therapy for myself before adding in other modalities. I love to learn so I can help people. I am driven to learn more, do more, and help more people. They say that most of us that work in the therapy field are there because of the result of their own pain or the pain of someone close to us in our lives. Mine's both. My mom had issues with depression and a variety of problems that were not recognized or treated. But more importantly, I have personally lived with depression for years in my own life. Inpatient in Sierra Tucson, and also have done years of talk therapy. I've been prescribed many medications and have a wide variety of natural remedies to dig myself out of the pit with. And through all that, I never thought about the possibility of creating joy and balance in my health, in my own life. All those things helped, and at times they probably saved my life. But the real changes happened with a variety of complementary therapies, and life changes after I started reading everything I could get my hands on. I spent many years of battling depression. I can say that I've mostly licked it, but occasionally it still raises its ugly head. Fortunately, at this point, I can recognize it early and take steps to get myself back out of it before I get too deep. I've spent years learning as much as I can about depression, its multitude of causes, and its effects on so many people, and many ways to get rid of it, or at least shrink it to make it life more productive and enjoyable. So one of my basic beliefs is we have the opportunity to learn from everything we do, everything that happens in our life. Even when the waves are crashing all around us, there is something to be learned from it. It can come from every negative. And we have that opportunity to learn from everything we do and everyone we meet. Every one of my clients has taught me vital things to help my life or the lives of others. Things may really suck at times, but if we look back, we have the opportunity to see that something good came from that situation. Somehow it made us stronger. My life's experiences have taught me more than I ever wanted to know about depression, and my clients have added to that knowledge. After 30 years working with pain management and depression, I'm excited to say that I offer a well-rounded program of healing. Work with can heal in a more holistic way. I do not like to do what I call Band-Aid medicine. I like to dig deep enough that we can get to the cause of what is going on and work at the level to begin to help people change their lives. I work with each person to set realistic goals and expectations so you can achieve them. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a special client. Most of you know one of my greatest pleasures is working with newborns. A number of years ago, I was working with Tiff and her newborn son for breastfeeding issues. Mary, the grandmother, came in with them. As we chatted about the various things I work with, she decided to become a client as well. Problems, migraines, neck, back, leg pain, etc., which all added to a significant level of depression. I became a major part of her support system, emotionally and physically. Last year, Mary had surgery, during which she developed complications and passed away 10 days later. I was included in support and update calls from her husband and was communicating with her kids. During her memorial, I was one of two of her healthcare providers that was acknowledged and thanked for the love, support, and relief we had provided Mary with over the years. During the time I had worked with Mary, I had also worked with 21 of Mary's immediate and extended family. This is an email from one of her daughters that I received. Yeah, sorry about that. That I received 6 months after she passed. Happy birthday, Venice. It looks like your day is going to be chilly and rainy. Not especially your favorite, I know, but most definitely mine. Find some super birthday fun worthy of you to do today to celebrate the world's happy day of celebrating when it received you. You are such a blessing to countless people. In every way you touch your life, someone's life, you are a priceless gift to each and every one of them. My life would be so much darker if I hadn't been blessed to be given you all those years ago. Because of your love for me, we worked through the darkest years of my life and moved forward to enjoy many happy memories that I couldn't have received had I not received your gift of healing. You will always be a special, priceless love in my life. You became the next best thing to my biological mom for me, even while she was still with us. Going forward, I will actually act on all those many, many thoughts of wanting to reach out to you that I haven't been doing so far. The more I realize how much I miss you, the more I knock myself on the head for not doing my part in keeping in touch. I love you, Venice. Thank you for being such a ray of true and beautiful sunshine that somehow the Lord saw me worthy to enjoy. Bye. Have an amazing birthday that is worthy of you. Love, Kimmy. That's obviously an emotional story for me, since I had a deep attachment to Mary and obviously to Kimmy. But I share it in my light of connection, love, and caring that I have with my amazing clients. So the principles and mindsets I'm going to share with you today have done a tremendous service for my health and my clients over the years, and for my business. My clients, but they're in the thousands that I've worked with so far, and each have touched me deeply. The work I do is so beneficial because it works with your life. It is because I don't work with a single modality or a single system of the body or even just health. It's a compilation of everything we do and have done in our lives. We fail our bodies because we have been taught to segment everything and not look at the big picture. I have discovered my incredible Stop Your Depression formula by understanding my uniqueness and putting together all the pieces that work for me. And what I want for you more than anything is to reap those same benefits of discovering your formula and taking your life back. So grab a pen and a notebook. Eliminate all distractions so you can be fully present on this call. Open your mind and heart to a new way of enjoying your health and your success. I ask you to can't talk all of a sudden. I ask you to pay close attention today because I really want you to take these gems and put them into immediate use and start changing your life. By taking control of your depression, you will have more power and success so you can more fully enjoy it. By the way, when I've given this presentation in the past, many people have asked for my copy of my slides, since there's so much information and detail in it. If you stay on till the end and remind me while I'm doing the Q&A session, I will make sure you get a copy of them. So anybody who's worked with me know that I'm always full of questions. And now we're going to ask you a lot of questions so we can discover your formula and find what's right for you. What do you want this year? Take a moment and write down on that pen and paper what changes you would like to see this year. So I can get some water. I know you would like to get rid of your depression, but what would that do for you? Would you just like to dig out of the pit? Would you also like more time or be able to increase your income so you have more financial ease? Would you like to have less stress and more energy? Would you like to address the world with confidence and a clear mind? Would you like to enjoy being around people, or maybe just being by yourself while you enjoy an amazingly beautiful day? How about playing with the kids or the grandkids? Would you like to be able to, sorry about that, hang on. Just get a good night's sleep? Boy, that sounds good. Which might allow you to really be able to focus on the things you need to focus on. Would you like to do all these things without forcing and putting on a happy face and pretending you're having a good time? Would you like to be more comfortable in your body and your life? What is it you want? What would having more power, joy, and productivity allow you to create? Out there only to be disappointed again and again with the results or the lack of results or any real benefit. You may still have little energy. You may still be in a gray funk and continue to feel that you're in a constant downward spiral and have difficulty functioning well in life. For years, my clients have told me that they have been in this spiral of depression and pain and dysfunction and have been to so many medical practitioners that they have lost all hope of ever getting better. It really frustrates me to see so many people be in that sea of hopelessness. It is a big part of what fuels me and keeps me going. I know there are ways to help people break free of that spiral. Actually, that is why we are the Hope Wellness Institute, because those same clients also told me that now they are working with us, they feel that life can be different. They had hope again. Medicine, as we know it, has become so segmented that it often forgets that you are a whole person. Your beliefs and words, your posture, actions, movements, your food, environment, and family, friends, and coworkers all have an impact on how you feel, an impact on your health, your depression, pain, and on your life. I look at life as if it were the inside of a nautilus shell. Each layer of that spiral encompasses the layer under it. Each chamber is different. Each chamber holds a part of your life story. All of those stories have a combination of sadness, hurt, joy, and beauty in them. To change and heal, we must address all the stories, even the ones we've forgotten about. That doesn't mean we have to go back and rip open the old stories and relive them. We just have to acknowledge that they are a part of us. I've had clients tell me that they have not had any accidents or injuries, only to discover scars on their bodies. When I asked them, they said that they had been in a severe accident that they'd forgotten about or didn't think it had any impact on our current state of depression and pain. So what I'm about to share with you now is one of two of the most important gems that you will hear from me today. Time to pay attention. Everything in your past has left traces on your body, your mind, and your soul. All of this contributes to your depression and pain that you're experiencing. Professionals work with the current obvious symptom, or the latest in the string of symptoms, or the one is only screaming the loudest at this moment in time. All of those small and not so small events in your life have combined to create the pain and depression you find in yourself today. It has created your habits and your beliefs, both conscious and unconscious, and your depression. The practice of medicine has become Band-Aid medicine. I know because I did the same thing for many years. I treated the symptoms. I now address you, the whole you. To heal, you have to come into balance. When you apply this idea into your life, you can significantly increase the progress and speed of your healing, which results in less pain and depression, giving you more stamina, energy, joy, and productivity. But when you begin to address every part of your life a little bit at a time, the healing works together synergistically and builds on itself. Just a note here, I'm not anti-medicine, anti-medication, or anti-surgery. I have needed and used all three in my life. Each has had its place. However, there is nothing in this world that is a standalone entity. As I said, life is about balance. There is no single answer to solve any problem, so we will be working with four of the most important aspects to find some relief for you. Your formula will not be exactly the same as anyone else's, because what works for one person is not what works for another. Remember, a few minutes ago, I asked you what you want for your life? I want you now to look at that list and think about those things. I want you to close your eyes and picture those things happening in your life. How do they make you feel? So my next question is, where are you now? I want you to really think about where you are right now. Are you currently living with pain, depression, stress, and exhaustion that is causing you frustration because you're not able to accomplish your goals and enjoy your life? Or maybe it's that you don't know what you are supposed to do with your life at this point in time. Are you exhausted because you're worried and can't sleep? Or you want to sleep all the time? Is your depression interfering with your work enough that money is a constant stressor? So does this statement resonate with you? I can't pretend that I'm okay anymore. I can't fake it anymore. I am hopeless and helpless. I am afraid I will never get better. Are you unable to focus and concentrate, so you're losing confidence in your own abilities? Are you spiraling down and losing control? Are you so sick and tired of battling the depression and the toll it takes that you have given up hope of ever getting better? Isn't it time to take charge and create the life you really want? I've been there, and I see people every day in this same state. But you don't have to stay in this place. You have options, and it's time to take the steps to change your direction. It's time to discover hope, and I'm going to take you there if you'll just take my hand. To help you discover hope and create the balance in your life that you desire, the info I'm about to share with you is taken straight out of my formula. Each piece of the formula builds on the other, and each has a place in your healing process. But please don't try to start with them all. Just do a little at a time. Healing is a process. You are in the right place to go from the dark to the light. Let's work together to find your formula for shrinking your depression. We're not created equal. You are unique. So that means that we cannot expect what works for someone else to necessarily work for you, even though many of your symptoms are the same as the others. Since you are unique, your formula will be unique. Formula together to change your life. In order to change, we must become aware of things like, does your depression ebb and flow? Is it constant? If so, what is the level of your depression? Is it a constant low grade so that you're just blah? Or is it so pervasive that you can barely function? When did your depression start? Was there an incident or accident that set it off, or did it come on gradual? If you're depressed all the time, is it at the same level all the time, or does it go up and down? If it varies, does it change many times during the day, or is it worse some days than others? Is it worse when you first wake up and then get better throughout the day? Or is it just the opposite? What are the triggers that cause your depression to increase? We're going to look more deeply at a few of these triggers to help you decrease your depression. What I have learned in the over 30 years of working with people who are depressed is it's never a single thing or component to it. It's always like a multifaceted diamond. The more facets you work with, the higher the possibility you can drastically decrease or get rid of your depression. So what are the mistakes that you may be making that are keeping you depressed? Mistake number 1. Did you know that inflammation is a major contributor to depression? Inflammation is the key component in any dysfunction in the body. It is even more so with depression and how the brain functions. When there is inflammation present, the entire body goes into battle for survival. It greatly affects your brain chemicals. By decreasing inflammation, you decrease pain. Great. So the answer is obviously easy, and we're all done, because we all know to decrease inflammation, you just take an anti-inflammatory. You've probably already been doing that, and you're still in a lot of pain. Plus, the anti-inflammatory itself can cause tremendous amount of damage to the body and the brain. So what's the point? To decrease the inflammation, we have to reduce the cause. What is the cause of your inflammation? Chances are it's something you are ingesting. Ingesting is not just eating or drinking, by the way. Your body reacts to everything it comes in contact with. Everything we do either helps us or harms us. I want you to think a minute about an empty bucket. That's you, your brain, and your body. Have added a lot to that bucket. Then you add what you eat, drink, and touch. Is it good stuff or not so good stuff? Does it react positively or negatively? If it's negative, then it causes a level of irritation, which sets off an inflammation response. The good stuff makes your bucket look like this. But when you keep putting the not so good stuff in it, then your bucket looks like this. Your body is trying to get rid of it or protect it from itself, which is the inflammation response. Concentrate on progress to get back to this bucket. Little by little, replace the not so good stuff with better stuff. All or nothing, just keep taking one step at a time. So some more questions. How do you feel after you eat or drink something? How do you feel after you go somewhere or do something? The responses may not be immediate. It can take hours or a couple of days to really feel the difference from an exposure to something. But you got to know that the quicker the response is, the more significant it is. Our biggest culprit is food, but you can't stop eating, so now what? It's highly likely that some of your food is causing your inflammation. Food equals inflammation, which equals pain. Food is one of the biggest culprits of inflammation, depression, and pain. And most of us are totally unaware of the consequences that it holds for us. And there are a gazillion choices. And there are some prime culprits. Yet, because we're all individuals with individual tastes, our response to that food is also individual. Sometimes we even think what is healthy can be a problem for us. You may have recently heard all the fuss about the gut-brain connection. This is something I had noticed with my own body for some time. I just didn't know the science behind it. Without getting too sciencey here, this is how it works. You have a nerve that comes from your brain that goes to many places in your body, including most of your organs. It is called the vagus nerve. It takes messages from the body to the brain. It also brings those messages back down from the brain. When you ingest something that your gut doesn't like, it tells the brain, and the brain sends a message to the spleen, which sends inflammation response to the body. This starts the pain depression cycle. If you're not able to notice a difference in your pain or depression, it's probably because you have such a high level, constant level inflammation all the time. If that's the case, you may actually have to do an elimination diet to start really cleaning out your body. We're not going to go into that here, but if you want more information, just send me a note. Remember, what works for one person is not what works for another. So sometimes the answer is starting with a food diary. Notice in the morning how you feel and write it down. Write down everything you eat and drink. Notice when you feel changes. Most people who live in a life of pain and depression feel that it's constant. It may be true, but not usually. You've just gotten so used to living with it that you turn the messages off and push through whatever you're feeling to get done what needs to be done. You've stopped listening to your body, which is pretty normal. To really get a handle on your depression and pain, you have to pay attention to what your body is telling you. And to take your life back, you have to learn some new habits. Remember your goals. Remember what you're working towards. Remember, you are the most important person, and if you don't take care of yourself, then you surely can't take care of anyone else. When we eat can be equally important as what we eat. Many of us are walking around in a constant state of blood sugar imbalance. This is a result of going too long without eating and then eating the wrong foods. It is important to eat every 2 to 3 hours, small, protein-based meals or snacks. This will maintain your energy better, resulting in less mood swings and give you increased brain power. Sugar is one of the biggest culprits and sources of inflammation in the body. It increases pain, depression, and brain fog. Not all at once, but try to take sugar out of your diet and notice how you feel. And I don't mean just table sugar, but fructose as well as all others. Continue to check different foods for your responses. For many people, fructose inhibits serotonin production. And did you know that it is even in lettuce? Serotonin is one of the important neurotransmitters needed to control depression. A good friend of mine has stopped eating fruit and salads, and her weight dropped dramatically, and her depression has decreased by 95%. Again, what is right for one person is not always right for another. When do you feel foggy, depressed, confused, or unable to think? Is it right after you eat? Or is it when you've gone many hours without eating? Or is it all the time? If your symptoms are there all the time, it can be that you're eating the wrong foods all the time. And maybe we just need to look at deeper things. So your second big mistake that you may be making is stress. Inflammation increases stress, and stress increases inflammation. Stress related? I see the stress, anxiety, sleep, pain, depression cycle happening all the time. And if this is the case, then let's decrease your depression by decreasing your stress. What causes you stress, and how can you begin to manage it? Stress is actually a normal part of life. Now, this picture, she's a little overloaded here, but there's good stress and there's bad stress. And don't let anyone try to tell you that you can or need to get rid of all of it. Remember, it's not all bad. Often that we need that stress to get us motivated, to kick us in gear to get things done. Nothing changes unless we have a motivator to create that change. We do need to learn to evaluate stress, work with it, and control it. And in many ways, you can do that. First, learn to recognize when you are stressed, when your stress is increasing, and when does it spike to the point of it seems out of control. So, what causes your stress? Does the very idea that something is going to cause stress increase your stress level? How do you gauge your level of stress? Most of us don't gauge our stress, we just live it. So is your stress level healthy or unhealthy? How do you know? What are your telltale signs of stress? How is it affecting you? Acknowledge the things that stress you on a daily basis and learn to manage them. I've learned that when I need to get things done and the phone keeps ringing, the emails keep popping up, or people keep coming in my door interrupting my flow, nothing gets done. That causes me stress. I've learned to manage it by blocking time on my calendar. I make blocks for work projects, emails, phone calls, and for meetings. This stops a lot of the interruptions, and I get way more done. I'm less stressed, I have less pain, and I'm less prone to depression. Tool for reducing stress, and here is another. My friend Donovan is a middle school counselor. His school has had many suicides in the last couple of years. Out of his frustration, he developed a program and charts for his kids to help them understand and manage their stress and know when to ask for help. He calls it the SOS system, or solving our stress. And he's been awesome enough to share it with me, to share with others. I will be sending it to you as a bonus for attending this webinar with instructions on how to use it. Just send me a note and I will email you the system. Once you get it, take the time to fill it out and decide what your stressors are. What is healthy or unhealthy stress for you? What signs do you notice when your stress increases? Does your breathing become more shallow or rapid? Do you have more pain in your neck and shoulders? Do you get headaches? Do you suddenly have the munchies, or would you kill for caffeine, chocolate, chips, or whatever? Or do you realize at the end of the day you've eaten nothing? Do you lose your temper more easily? Does your anxiety level go up? Once you start recognizing your signs and symptoms of stress, create a plan on how to decrease your stressors. Start asking yourself if you really need to be stressed by this. Then create a list of resources that you can turn to when you notice your signs of stress happening. This was probably an escalating list. A friend to chat with for mild things. Maybe a coach for something a little more serious. And maybe a therapist when things really hit the fan. And for your stress before it happens. High levels of stress for prolonged periods of time will affect your adrenals, eventually resulting in adrenal fatigue. We're not going to go into adrenal fatigue here, but you need to know that if you're in a deep state of depression, there is a high likelihood that your adrenal fatigue should be evaluated. The longer your adrenals are overworked, the less you are able to handle stress, the more you're depressed, exhausted, and soon you can't handle life at all. Adrenal fatigue takes a lot of time and diligence to recover from and may take months. Again, let me know if you need more info. Here are a few things that affect most people's stress level. The dreaded to-do list. Instead of making a to-do list, which just keeps growing, make it an I will do it list and put on it only what you know you will do. The brain likes to win, so give it things to win at. Learn to say no or give away as much as possible. Delegate only if you can't give it away, because if you delegate it, you're still responsible for it. You don't have to do it all, and if you keep trying, you will end up in more pain until you can't do anything. So is worry causing your stress? I could tell you to just stop worrying, but we all know how that works. As they say, 90% of the things we worry about will never happen. Of that 10% that's left, only less than 5 do we have any control over. Start asking yourself questions about what you're worrying about. Ask yourself about the evidence. Is it true or not true? Is there a more positive way or realistic way to think about the situation? Is what you're worrying about even in that 5% that you have control over, or even in the 10% that is likely to happen? What are other more positive possible outcomes? Does it really help to worry about it or hurt me? What would I say to my best friend who is worrying about this? So another really cool question is, how much of your stress is really other people's stuff? Yeah, we've all heard about not my circus, not my monkeys, but it's really true. When you're stressing about things, ask yourself, is this really mine? Is there anything I can do about it? Or should I acknowledge their pain and let it go? Believe me, as a health practitioner, I've had to learn this. This is another place to start asking questions. Take control. Consciously choose what to carry for or worry about for other people. And then please get rid of Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. There is no such thing, so quit trying. Just do it. Then the next time, do it better. If you're trying to do everything perfect, that means you have an unrealistic expectation and it will never be right. It only adds to your stress and your pain. The best way to look at things is to take imperfect action. Being a perfectionist will stop you from reaching your potential and stop you from providing your gifts to the world. Fail fast, my coaches told me. Learn from what didn't work and then make it better the next time. By taking action quickly, it actually decreases stress because the more time you're worrying about things, the less you are doing them and the more the stress elevates. I know this webinar isn't perfect. You'll actually find some slides at the end kind of backwards. It just happens. But I had to start somewhere and it will be better next time. Mistake number 3. Think we're just like everyone else. Nope, you're not. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Actually, what I said before is we're all different. But another way to think about it is we are not all created equal. It is time to take yourself out of the box. Everything is unique about you. Medicine has become a treatment for the masses, often treating everyone the same. But since we aren't all the same, then medicine often fails us. When medicine fails you, you cannot heal. And that is because they are still treating the symptoms. We all have different bodies and emotions. We grew up in different families, live in different surroundings and environments. The people we interact with are different. Our personalities are different, and that colors how we respond to the world and the situations around us. And the responses are individual. Combine this with the fact that we really are not created equal. We are each unique in many ways. In my 30 years of working with people, I often find muscles that attach in different places. There may even be a missing muscle or an extra. The bones may be different sizes, there may be extras, etc. We really are not created equal. And if this is the case with the physical body, just imagine how different things can happen with the emotional body. That is why it's so important to find the right incredible formula just for you. So what can you do about that? First, become conscious and observe everything about yourself. No, not to the point of narcissism. That causes its own problems. But so you can recognize what's going on. If you don't know what's happening, you can't fix it. Notice what's going on when you get upset, down, or irritable. Notice what you're eating, or when you feel the need to eat things that are not right for you. What has triggered you? Just notice. Then the next step is stop the merry-go-round and let yourself off. Did you know that you feed your own depression without even knowing about it or being aware of it? I have found that it's something most of us do all day long to feed it as well. So what is this merry-go-round, and how are you feeding your own pain and depression, and how do you allow others to feed it? called the voices in your head. I'm going to call it the voices of perpetual pessimism. Sometimes we're stuck on the merry-go-round of perpetual pessimism. The voices probably started with others telling you that you were doing it wrong, that it was your fault, and that you were blank and blank and blank. Each of us with depression has had those early experiences of major negative input. Then life piled on some major traumatic experiences. This is not something you had any control over, and it wasn't your fault. It was called life, and the fact that stuff happens. 10% of life is what happens to us, is how we react to it. I know how difficult it is to change that tape that is playing in your head. The pathway is always going. And I just totally lost myself. The pathway is always yammering in your head, those pathways in our brain that have become so ingrained to be negative. Find something that will work for you, but you must change your self-talk. Write down words that you want to believe and read them to yourself, ideally while you're looking in the mirror. Going from where you are now to something amazing may be too much of a jump, but baby steps will work. One client that I worked with had a very tough time with this assignment, so we found something that would work for her. Going to church is a big part of her life, so we went back to the Sunday school days and started her singing Jesus Loves Me. She felt good about that. Then she could grow from there. What is one little thing you can say or sing to yourself that is acceptable? We have all heard that we have to be careful of the words we say, but the thoughts we think are just as important, if not more so, because we're thinking them all the time. When we say negative things, others may correct us, but when we're thinking, no one corrects us, and once we think it, we continue to build on that thought and create more and more negativity. Our thoughts become our beliefs, which become our actions. Because once those messages have been embedded, your own brain betrays you and keeps the negative pouring in. When you do something wrong and call yourself a name, such as silly, dumb, or anything more serious, it just creates more negativity. We have all heard about speaking in the positive, and we need to keep the right energy flowing. But did you know that every time you speak badly about yourself, it actually changes the brain chemicals and how the brain functions? This also happens when others speak badly to us or about us. I don't know about you, but when I use the word bad, I find that feel like I've done something wrong, which is just another negative word. So for now, let's use the word negative, since any of those words create negative issues for our bodies and our brains. Most of us talk to ourselves in such negative ways that we would not find it acceptable to use when we were talking to others. This is known as self-abuse through self-talk. Each word we use carries power for ourselves and those around us. We hear about bullying everywhere now, and we know how much others' words can hurt, but we seldom stop to think about how using those same words affect ourselves. You know, I was writing an apology the other day and realized how the words "I'm sorry" felt. I know that it is the context that it's used, so when you say something like "I'm sorry for your loss," or "I'm sorry that you were hurting," you have a feeling of compassion or empathy. But when you say "I'm sorry that I screwed up," I don't know about you, but I feel like the 3-year-old who was taught to feel shame for something I had done. I realized that if I changed it to say thank you for the opportunity to learn, it felt much better, and it changed the power and the energy for everyone involved. So I'm going to say the following words, and I want you to acknowledge the feeling that comes up. I am sorry. I'm bad. I'm silly. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm fat. I'm old. I hate that. I'm ugly. I'm worthless. Well, I don't know about you, but that just feels icky and ucky. So let's change all that. First, we're going to put your brain in neutral to let it shift gears. So what I'd like you to do is think of the most precious moment you have ever experienced. Put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and look up to the center of the top of your head. Take a slow, deep breath in for the count of 5. Hold it for the count of 5. And then slowly let it out for the count of 5. Cool. Now let's try some different words. I am sunshine. I'm beautiful. I'm learning. I'm happy. I am lovely. I am masterful. I'm novel. I am amazing. I am capable. I am powerful. I am is the 2 most powerful words there are. What you put after them shapes your reality. It will limit you or expand you. As soon as you hear yourself say, I am, stop and choose what you say next. You don't have to go from one extreme to another, but start replacing a negative with a positive. When you say to yourself, well, that was really stupid, change it to, that was novel or even amazing. When something happens that is not necessarily positive and it goes on for a constant basis, instead of getting discouraged, mad, or depressed about it, ask yourself what you can learn from that. When you change a word to something that feels like it is too strong, then pick one that you're okay with. Great. So how do you get it to stop? How do you turn those negative thoughts into positive words? How do you stop the verbal self-abuse? How do you get off of that merry-go-round? By putting your brain in neutral. This stops the brain processes and lets you change directions. I know we just did that, but because this is so important, I want to make sure you get it. First, recognize your negative thoughts. Most of us think on autopilot. We're not even aware of our thoughts. To put your brain in neutral, as soon as you recognize that you're doing something that is not what you want to do, stop. Think about that most precious moment you've ever experienced. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Then take a deep breath. In for the count of 5. Hold it for the count of 5. And out for the count of 5. This automatically stops the processes and allows you to change gears. Then consciously choose to think different thoughts. This is the first and most important step to change your depression. Another tool is not just changing the voices, but to actually quiet the voices. Over 30 years ago, when I was an inpatient at Sierra Tucson for 6 weeks for depression, one of the questions during the intake was they asked me if I heard voices others didn't. I thought it was a pretty silly question, and being the smart aleck that I can be, I said I had 2 answers for that. One was, how would I know? And since I don't know what others hear, and the other was, well, doesn't everyone? Apparently, not everyone has a committee talking or arguing in their head all the time. Later, I learned about the Bach flower essences. These are an awesome homeopathic type product that can assist in changing behavior, and they have no side effects and do not interact with any medications that you are taking with. These remedies are amazing for depression as well as for many other imbalances. I used some today before I started the webinar. However, the one that is most important for the voices in your head is white chestnut. I told a friend about it years ago, and a week later she called me very excited. She said for the first time ever she was alone. There was no committee arguing in her head, and it was completely quiet. If you're ready to quiet the voices in your head, pick up some white chestnut today at your local health food store. I often do sessions with clients just to help them find their right Bach formula. Take time to choose your thoughts. Your greatest weapon is against your pain and depression is your ability to choose one thought over another. When a negative or stressful thought pops in, put your brain in neutral and take a deep breath in. Put your tongue to your roof of your mouth and focus on something more positive. Then breathe out. Remember, you are in control. Become aware of the always and never phrases. When do you say always? I'm always in pain. I'm always stressed. I'm always, and you fill in the blank. When do you say never? I will never be able to do that. Be careful of the all or nothing and speaking in black and white terms. If I don't blank, then I am a total failure. And because I can't blank, I will never. Remember, you have the power to change your life and get out of the darkness and into the light. Take charge every day and do it just one moment at a time. You have to apply yourself each moment to do a little better. At the end of each day, know that you did the best that you could, and it was the best for that moment in time. And give yourself credit for that. Then decide what you can do better tomorrow. Always praise yourself for being the best you can be right now. Take time each evening to make your list for what you can commit to the next day. Your brain likes wins, so give it as many wins as you can. Don't give it yourself so much to do that you fail. Here's another personal story. Years ago, I was at one of my lowest places. I would make lists to get things done, but at the end of the day, I'd gotten very little done, so it just made me feel worse. Then I would add even more to the list the next day. I just kept spiraling deeper and deeper. As I was telling my therapist about what a failure I was, he said, "So, you're a really bad mom too?" That got my attention. I nearly shouted, "No, I'm a great mom." He made me see that I was doing something right. After that, I changed my strategy. I quit making lists of what I had to do, and I made a list of only what I got done. Sometimes there isn't much more on the list than taking care of the kids, but I felt good about it. Thing that you're doing right now that's right, that you can feel good about. Keep this in constantly in your mind and keep building on it. To help you sleep, do your thank yous. Take a few minutes to rediscover hope each night. Just think about that for a minute. Sorry, needed some water before I started getting hoarse here. Then concentrate on relaxing your body. Start at your feet, tighten them up, and take a deep breath. And as you relax, relax your feet. Do this progressively up your body. Feel the day's tensions draining from your body. When I do this, I seldom get all the way to my head. In fact, I seldom get to my waist. I go to sleep before I get there. So we've covered a lot of things tonight that could be adding up to your depression and a wide variety of things to change. Remember, please don't try them all. As you slowly tackle each of the items that we have talked about, you will notice that your depression and your pain begin to decrease. And I can already hear some of you saying, "Venice, I'm already stressed, overworked, I have no time, and I'm exhausted. And you want me to take on more?" No, I want you to be aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and slowly change one thing at a time. You didn't get here overnight, and healing is not just taking another pill. Remember, I said no more Band-Aids. Take time every day to focus on your why. Now, I know you've probably heard many of these before, but are you doing them? Remember earlier I said that many of these things you may have heard and they sounded too simple to be helpful? As a result, you may not be doing them or giving them enough credit. Remember, simple works, so just do them. They are each easy, but I know they are work because I have done them and so have my clients. They will change your life. Do one. Just one, especially when you're in a deep spiral of depression. Then do another one. I know there are a lot more things happening in your life that is creating your depression and pain. And I know that you may not think these have much to do with what is really going on, or they are what is keeping you from accomplishing all you want to do in your life. But our body and life functions much like that bucket that we talked about before. When there's too much in it, it overflows. So by taking some of the negative out, it's easier to manage the rest. Each of these things that you do will decrease the amount of stress in your bucket so you can begin to heal. These are things that start the chemicals in your brain changing so you can be different. Every time you tell yourself you're bad, remember, the chemicals respond to that. When you tell yourself you're good, the chemicals respond to that. You have to begin to tell yourself it's okay to be kind to yourself. It's okay to take care of you. We all have to start somewhere, and I can guarantee you that when I'm doing many of these things consistently in my day, I feel a whole lot more energy and can get more accomplished, and I have less pain and keep the depression away. Do these things, the more the chemicals in your brain will balance out and the better you will feel. In the spirit of imperfection, start with one, just one small change, and then add another. It is what I do because, I'm still working on them too. A little over time, but I hope you're going to hang in with me. And where do we go from here? We still have a little time left, or not apparently, but I want to give you my fourth mistake that I promised you. This one in particular has changed my life. But first, I know you're all wondering, now what is the next step how am I going to help you become the person you really want to be? So I want to tell you about a very special offer that I have for you. Hang on just a minute. I want to find that offer. I want to tell you about my Stop Your Depression with Incredible, I just totally lost myself. About my strategy session that will change your life. What it's going to do is create a sense of clarity about how your depression is affecting your power, productivity in your life. It will help you understand the reasons behind the frustrations of your depression. It will help you discover the whys that is important enough to make the changes. You will complete the consult with the excitement of knowing exactly what you need to do to help create the power, joy, and productivity that you desire. So remember when I talked to you about the ball and chain keeping you from enjoying your life you're living? And remember also, I've been there. I know how hard it is to make the changes to stop the depression and pain in your life. Mainly because you do not have the energy or the will or the why to make those changes. That is why I'm so excited about this offer that I've created for you. It will help you break free of that ball and chain. It is time, and it is really important. I do not want you to spend one more day chained down and not enjoying the life that you are truly here to live. The most important step you can take to change your life is to discover your why. Having been in this place, I can tell you that if you are still here in this place of depression, you haven't found your why. This is something I excel at, is to take you deep inside and help you discover your why and make it possible to make the changes you need to have your life back. For signing up for this strategy session, you will receive another handout that is the top 5 mistakes you may be making. Depression. In addition to the SOS system, which you may have already asked for. This strategy session is intended for you if you are serious about creating a big shift in your joy and your life. If you're ready to take massive action and you're committed to exploring your limited beliefs and deepest fears that are holding you back in healing your process and reaching your full potential. I want to make sure you know that I don't schedule these consultations lightly. I'm only making these available to the few of you that are truly ready to get the result for your health and are willing to invest your time, energy, and money to make it happen. If that's you and you feel like what I shared is valuable, and I'm someone you resonate with enough to actually work with, then please click the button on the right and make an appointment for your strategy session before the available spots run out. Remember, this is a complimentary session. While you're doing that, I would like to tell you about Tom. Tom had been a client for a while, and he had many health challenges that had recently had a pretty serious health scare, which his work and his pain had increased his level of depression. He decided he was interested in our new program. We sat down and had just a strategy session. In the process, he confided to me that he was as high up on the ladder as he could go in his current position, and so was privately thinking about a change. But there had been so many changes in his life lately, he didn't really think his health could handle another one right now. He had never voiced these thoughts to anyone before, including his wife. After we explored all the options, Tom made his decision. Within a week, he found a new position and gave notice at his dead-end job that was a serious contributor to his pain and depression. His new Sorry, things just changed in my life and I lost my train of thought there. His new position is much easier on his body, and he greatly reduced his stress level, giving him more opportunity to enjoy his life and recover his health with our depression. And while we were lifting the depression as well. So we have a bonus for people who are signing up on this call. 10 people who call or sign up for their strategy session will receive a lifetime subscription to the Focus Builder Mobile Sound Therapy Program. The Focus Builder program is designed to help you become more focused and productive throughout the day by chasing away the squirrels and helping you concentrate on one thing at a time. It helps if you are depressed because that is when it is the hardest to focus. For many of us, our brain cannot focus, so we spend hours doing something that should take half that amount of time. Focus Builder is designed to help you become more productive throughout the day. Distractions can easily take us away from our ability to focus on priorities. This program will help you control your thoughts, feel calmer, more efficient, and less stressed. You will receive this at your strategy session. Just so you know, the deadline for signing up for these strategy sessions is Saturday, October 22nd at noon. I am seldom able to create this much space in my calendar, but I have purposely reserved 15 spots for strategy sessions between now and the 10th of November, so you can have a clear vision of the steps you need to take to change your life. Click the button on the right now for that offer. It will take you to my calendar where you can make your appointment for your strategy session. These are going quick, so do it now. If for some reason you can't get to that link, or make a note here or email me. Just type in the strategy session on the subject line, and in the body of the email, put your phone number and strategy session. So my email is, click on your email now and type it in, Venice at THEHWI. That's V as in Victor, ENICE at THEHWI.com. After you've set up your appointment, I will email you a questionnaire so that when we do your strategy session, we will not waste any time getting right into the meat of the matter. Again, I want to make sure that you know I don't schedule these strategy sessions lightly. I'm only making these available to the few of you that are truly ready to get results for your health and are willing to invest your time, energy, and money to make it happen. If that's you and you feel like what I shared with you is great, then I would love for you to click that button before those spots run out. Now, that fourth mistake that I was telling you about, that most important gem, is that you are in control of your life. No one else. You are not what happened to you. You are not your past. And though you cannot change your past, you can control your reaction to it. You are in control of right now, and you are in control of your future. Right now and throughout the day, continue to make small choices that you can control. Notice what is stopping you. Is it your habits or core beliefs? And decide to change one little thing at a time. To start rebuilding that confidence, the best thing you can do is twofold. First, acknowledge that what you have accomplished. Make that I got it done list. And start creating a gratitude journal. And if not a journal, then at least as you're going to sleep at night, count the good things that happened during that day and send the thank yous out for them. There is always something good that happened, and there is always something to be thankful for. When you can't sleep at night because things start popping into your mind, you know, the woulda, shoulda, couldas, as each one pops in, as soon as it pops in, replace it with what you accomplished, what you did right, something that was good. And if there was someone during the day that was poopy to you, then just know that they are just as stressed as you are and send them a little love and forgiveness. Sometimes I take a moment to wonder, so what's going on in their life that made them act that way? Then send them love and let it go. Unleash the goodness as you go to sleep, and the next day you will wake up more positive and ready to take on the world. Take on an attitude of expectation, the expectation that life is getting better. I know this webinar was jam-packed and hope you picked up lots of useful gems that you can put to use. Thank you for your attention, and call me if you need more help. Remember, do not stress and do not try to make big changes all at one time or try to do it all at one time. No stress, just one little thing at a time. If you haven't hit that button on the right, now is the time. Calendar and make an appointment for your strategy session. It is time to take a stand and reclaim your life of power and joy, to decrease your stress and design your incredible formula. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an awesome week. And if you have any questions, now is the time to type them in. Oh, somebody said my sound was gone for a while, but it came back. Glad to hear that. And anybody else have a question out there? I'm going to hang on for just a minute, just in case. And you have a great night too, Tim. I appreciate you being here, and always awesome to see you and hear from you. So guys, just remember, you're in control. Create one thing and make it happen for you. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Bye.